So typically, when I do videos, um, it is about my collection, my figures. But today I wanted to make it just what's on my mind. We're gonna call this "Let Me Nerd Out," and hopefully I can give you at least one of these a week. But this is the first of many. Hopefully, definitely. And where I want to start right now is my Hasbro Marvel Legends. Any of you that collect Marvel Legends out there, uh, I'm wondering if you are frustrated like I am frustrated with what they did this past year. Um, Maybe longer. Was it longer? Um, with the packaging, if you're if you're out of box collector and you don't care, it's not going to matter to you. But it definitely bothered me a bit. And so I did not get any Marvel Legends this past year outside of the X-Men 97 VHS box sets. I didn't do the other X-Men 97. I I don't like when they change the packaging also. This may just be me. Um Let me know. I don't like that when they change the packaging. I like the build a figures or the single figures, standalone figures, but I want them um, to be in the same type of packaging because I'm an inbox collector and I like it to look nice, neat, um, and uniformity. I don't know. You know what I mean. Or you don't. You think I'm crazy because I should just open them, stand them up. No, I don't want to be knocking my figures over every 2 seconds. Why I have these out is because I was thinking, is it too late for Hasbro to revisit the Infinity and Endgame, uh, Infinity Stone role play accessories? I would like to finish it. It feels incomplete with a lot of the Marvel Legends. As of late, the build a figure, the build a figures have been incomplete. Like, they're giving us so many random people together, and then the build a figure is another random person, which drives me crazy. I did like that they went back to the window packaging, but still, even in the last few, I think the Marvel Knights, that's a pretty good set for the first three, and then it gets a little off. You have random people like Chris Starr, and Power Woman, I think the Wonder Woman knockoff lady, uh, and then like the build a figures, the Void, no, the Mindless one, which has nothing to do with any of those figures. And stuff like that really bothers me. I feel like they've been slacking on the last one. There was that build a figure of the villains, and I think the only one worthwhile was Lady Deathstrike. I think that was a pretty good figure. The rest of them, who cares? Who cares about those guys? I don't even know who was in the set, but it was trash. Uh, there's also some off the top of my head like Beta Ray Bill. He was a fantastic figure. And then everyone else that came in the wave was just, why? Why would anyone want them? So it's stuff like that that frustrates me about Hasbro and the Marvel Legends line. Uh, but one thing I was thinking about, I'm looking at my collection, I'm thinking, can they can they keep going? Like, okay, we got the Tony Stark's glove. I will review this eventually, but right now, you know, we had that. We have the Doctor Strange amulet, uh, the Tesseract, and of course the Thanos gauntlet. Why stop there? It could have been a HasLab. I don't know if it would have been funded, but it could have been a HasLab, the Power Stone, how it opens up. The collector's opening it with the machine, and it's got all those gears and stuff. If they can make it look like that, that would be cool. But if you have to manually open it up yourself and twist and turn it like it's a puzzle, I'm still there for that also. And the Mind Stone, you can easily make a Loki scepter for the Mind Stone. I don't know why that was never a thing. I think it was for like the lower range of figures, like the kids' toys, kind of. I think they had a scepter, but they didn't have a Marvel Legends scepter. And I think that's what I would have liked. The only difficult one is the Soul Stone. Now, what are you going to do for that? Are you going to just have, it's going to come with a Gomorrah and a Black Widow, and you just kind of do the dead body pose, and you kind of place them in a little circular thing, and that lights up like their blood? I don't know. I guess they can't do that. But that would be the only thing they can change. I have issues with outside of the Doctor Strange amulet, Amagamoto, if I'm pronouncing that right, I don't know. I think all of these could have been done better. But again, that's something that I will talk about when I actually review these. But they're in my collection nonetheless. I did like them. I do like them. And other things that I collect, I am big on SH Figure Arts, the Naruto line, the Dragon Ball line, and I have been thinking about One Piece. And of course, I'm going to do the Demon Slayer. I held off on the Figma Demon Slayer because I felt like SH Figure Arts was going to do Demon Slayer, so I didn't jump into the Figma. And I'm hoping they get into My Hero Academia. So I think that is my Transformers. I have given up. Can you see it in the back? I have sold off a lot of my Transformers. I'm trying to figure out the best direction of my collecting in the Transformers line. And I've decided I'm going to do the movie figures because they're updated. I'm going to, if they keep putting them out, collect the Walmart exclusives of the G1 vintage. And I'm going to do the Masterpiece line. As many Masterpieces as I can. I don't know who they're going to reissue or who I just have to go back out and find. I know to find like the Megatron, the 36, you almost have to pay like $500 for it, which I'm not doing. I'm hoping they reissue that. I know there was a bunch of problems with the Megatron looking too much like a gun or what have you, whatever. But I'm hoping they figure that out some way, somehow, and reissue that. And Dinobot. Dinobot's another one. You look around and it's maybe $500. Yes, I can get a knockoff and pay a fraction of the price, but I'm not a knockoff guy. Sorry. That makes me sound away. I don't like the knockoffs. I don't lean towards the third parties just to have it. I am like, for no reason whatsoever, a brand loyal guy. And if you're doing right by the brand, I'll stick with it. I won't jump out. I have, because of the way Hasbro's been going with the Marvel Legends, I have been looking into other stuff. The Mondo makes pretty cool X-Men 97 figures. I believe they have the Wolverine, the Sabretooth. There's a Magneto. What else? Maybe a Jubilee. I'm not sure. But I do like those Mondo figures as well. But I'm thinking about it. But they haven't gone really outside of the X-Men 97. I don't know how deep they're going to get into it. And I think that's it as far as figures go. Super 7, I have been jumping in on the Super 7. Thundercats. Thinking about the Silverhawks, they changed up the Silverhawks. Initially, it was not metallic looking, shiny metallic, and so I was like, no, I'm not gonna do this. But the version 2 are metallic, so I will consider Silverhawks Super 7. I will think about. I saw a Notorious Big figure from Super 7. I'm considering it, because you think, how deep are they gonna go, right? Am I gonna get a Ghostface killer with the robe, and he's got the eagle bracelet on? Are you gonna give me that? Am I gonna get Run DMC maybe? And this is the Ultimate line. They have some of these figures in their, I guess they call it retro something, or action reaction figures for Super 7. But they're too old school looking. I know that's the idea, but they're too dated looking for me, so I probably would not get them. But the Ultimates, I mean, you're getting accessories with it. The Biggie Smalls has the Jesus chain, the Jesus piece chain. He's got hats. He's got different head molds, a microphone, a cane. Are they going to do another one with like the Versace shirt? So that might be something to consider as far as a collection. And as always, I would like to hear what you guys are collecting and why you're collecting it. I know as a kid, I was very big into Ninja Turtles, but that is so overwhelming right now. Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joe. But they're so overwhelming with how much they are and how many figures there are. It's too much to do for me. So I will probably pass on either one of those not Transformers, I'm sorry, Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joe. Other than that, that is my collection. I don't have anyone asking any questions, so I am going to move on. I have some of these thoughts, so I thought this would be the best platform and the best way to get out my thoughts about this stuff, because a lot of it you can't really just throw out there. It doesn't work. So in a talking forum like this, I think this is the best way to do it. So I hope you're subscribing to it. I hope you are listening. Next, out of my random thoughts, I was thinking about anime and some of the best anime out there. I have been really big into My Hero Academia. I don't know if they're finishing up, but it's up there. Top anime for me, hands down. I won't say it's the best anime out there, because for me, it's the top anime. And this is coming off of, I don't know what they're doing with Dragon Ball. I know they're doing the new Dragon Ball, where like Tiny Toon Adventures, where everybody turns into a kid. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not going to judge it right now because I haven't seen anything. I was excited when they announced that they were coming out with Super, and I've been okay with Super. I've been okay with the Super anime. I've been okay with the Super manga. But now it's like they're like cutting it off, because now in the manga they're at Dragon Ball Superhero, and I guess they made that canon. And I think they may just end it at that. And that will kind of be sad, because there's still a lot of story, and they're just gonna drop it, I guess. Or maybe they'll still do the manga. I have been watching One Piece. Everyone talks about One Piece and how great One Piece is. I have tried for years to get past the first season of One Piece. It is, I don't know what it is, but I can't get past the first season. And come to find out, in the first season, there's like 80 episodes or something. So I would catch it every now and then on Toonami. Those of you familiar with Toonami, I would catch it every now and then. And I'm like, this the rubber guy. I get it, but now I am deep into it. I am in season 2. They just got to the Sky Island, so I'm there. No spoilers. I've been curious about these gear changes, but I'm not there yet. I don't know if I'm even close to there because there's like 20 seasons of this thing. I have not read the manga. What else? What else is there to talk about? As far as anime goes, Jujutsu Kaisen. How do people feel about it? To me, it is lacking a story that flows. Season 1, it just started happening, right? I'm like, okay, they're going to get to a backstory eventually. They give you little pieces of a backstory. They don't really explain the villain. He's just kind of there. They don't really explain how these people have powers. They don't really explain how the main character, he's just a high school kid, and then he starts eating fingers. And they kind of get into it, but they don't really get into it. So I kind of watched it as a filler to fill up time. And then I got into season 2. And season 2 gives you backstories on Gojo, the Kakashi guy. But again, I feel like there's a lot of story missing. And they're filling in that story with punches and kicks and grand explosions. And I don't think that's the right idea. I haven't finished season 2 yet. I kind of get to it when I can get to it. I think that's all that's going on in my mind as far as anime. But if you have not watched My Hero Academia, that is an anime you need to watch. It's definitely top 1 of my top 5. And if you're going to ask me my top 5, My Hero's number 1, and in no particular order. I really loved Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I am enjoying One Piece now that I've broken past, so I would maybe put that up there. Naruto, of course. Naruto's maybe 2. And I don't know what else can fall in there. Oh, Demon Slayer, of course. But Demon Slayer is like, it wrapped up so quick. I mean, it went from Rangoku going Rangoku, right, and fighting Upper Demon 3 to it just kind of, they're just knocking off all these upper demons without, a lot of struggle. Season 3 was very blah. Season 2 is probably the peak. I mean, season 2 was it. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's fantastic anime, fantastic action, great story, comedy, seriousness. It's everything you need. That is fantastic. And then season 4, I think season 4 is just supposed to be freaking a training arc where they train to fight, to get ready to fight Muzan and those guys. I don't know if I want to sit through 8-9 episodes of that. Nothing. I've gone through the manga. Nothing great happens. They learn about their marks, I guess. Nothing fantastic happens. And then I think they're going to split that last bit up into 2 seasons. This is what I've heard. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I've heard. Uh, but Demon Slayer is well done, and it's, if you read the manga and you watch the anime, that's one of those where it doesn't transition, it doesn't translate, right? So you can't get those action sequences that you get in the anime. If you're reading other manga, you can kind of pick up on it and get the feeling. But Demon Slayer, the anime is just on another level as far as those action sequences. So if you have not, of course you watched it. Everybody's watched it. It's hot out here, but I think it is on the decline until they get to fight Muzan. And that's, I think, all that I'm watching right now as far as anime goes. I just had this realization maybe a few years ago. Oh, it was actually during quarantine. I, as a kid, would watch Ronin Warriors. I forget what else it's called. It has a different name. But Ronin Warriors with the armor, the samurai armor. And I thought this show was so great. I thought this show was so fantastic. And come to find out, it's just a boy version of Sailor Moon. I mean, why did I not realize this? I didn't realize it was just the male version of Sailor Moon. This is not a knock to Sailor Moon, but Sailor Moon is probably like a cult anime. Everyone loves Sailor Moon, but Sailor Moon wasn't fantastic. Wasn't great. And the action, there was no action. It was basically just her living a regular life, which I think people liked. And then she turned into Sailor Moon. She'd do her finishing move, and that was it. There was no real fighting. And Ronin Warriors is basically the same thing for boys. It just hit me a few years ago. I'm like, how could this have happened? But I can talk about anime all day. Yeah, I'm like, I'm an idiot. I couldn't piece that together. Maybe because I was too young. Oh, my friend's a blurred. I'm a blurred also. What else can we move on to? What else is important? You want to know another hot take? Everyone is crapping on the Marvels. I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, all the recent MCU movies have been like okay. I mean, it started with the Eternals, and the Eternals was like, I left the movie theater like, okay. Like, I wasn't wowed by it. I thought the end credit scenes were a little absurd. The Celestial comes and he takes Cersei, and then the Black Knight goes to run and get his sword. What are you going to do against the Celestial? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, I just left the movie theater. I was like, all right. Like and I think that was like Blade's voice or Mahershala Ali's voice. I mean, and then it was Doctor Strange 2, which again wasn't bad, but the stories aren't great. They're just trying to get us with like the Easter eggs and wowing us with like little Easter eggs here and there. I did enjoy the Marvel series though, and some of them were blah. But WandaVision, I don't think I was expecting anything in WandaVision. I was just like, fine, I got nothing else to do. I'm sitting home quarantining, And I was really impressed by WandaVision until the end, where it became this big superhero thing that I don't think it needed to be. I think it was a good enough story to stand alone without that big final scene with Vision fighting White Vision and Scarlet Witch fighting Agatha. Yes, Loki is amazing, was amazing. Season 1 and season 2. I'm a sucker for time travel. So you give me something with time travel, I'm usually gonna love it. But Loki is definitely, out of the shows, Loki is definitely the top. I don't think anything was better. Secret Wars, was it Secret Wars? Was like okay, it was fine. Captain America was like okay, cool. Am I missing a show? Loki, WandaVision, Winter Soldier, and the Falcon. Huh. Oh God. Yeah. Freaking the Hawkeye. Did we need the Hawkeye series? No, I didn't need that Hawkeye series by any means whatsoever. It was. It just kind of happened. It kind of happened. With Daredevil, I would like to see a bigger Kingpin. I don't think that guy is big enough to be Kingpin. I would have liked to see like the guy from Game of Thrones, Gregor the Mountain, or that WWE guy, Braun Strowman, maybe shave him bald, make him into the Kingpin. I think they are better, bigger Kingpins than, I don't know what that guy's from, some cop show, but he doesn't do it for me. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with Echo and Daredevil Born Again. But that Hawkeye show was just terrible, and Black Widow's sister is hunting him down, just to at the end kind of run away. So that story was like half cocked. Yeah, I didn't need Hawkeye. I didn't need it at all. What else is out there? Oh, another hot take. Captain Marvel, no, Miss Marvel was not a bad show. I think it was a terrible villain. I think it was a fun show, and it was meant to be fun. It was meant to be a fun show. Like, and I think it accomplished that. It gave you a lot of culture, a lot of Muslim, Indian, or Pakistani culture. Oh, Moon Knight. Moon Knight was fantastic. I thought Moon Knight was very good. But that also didn't have a real villain. It wasn't really a threat. And I think that was what was wrong with Miss Marvel. Like, Miss Marvel's villain wasn't a threat. She was like, with her little knife, she's like, I'm going to stab you with all your powers, if you don't open this portal to merge our worlds. Like, where's the threat? No, I'm a superhero. Get out of here. I guess she could fight well also. But that's coming off of Thanos. Like, you're coming off of Thanos. Come on. So I think that's where Miss Marvel failed. It had a terrible villain. Moon Knight was actually kind of cool, even though it lacked a villain. I don't feel like there was ever a threat of anything bad happening with that guy, who could, I don't know what he did. He like sucked people's like souls out. But that was just an interesting story. So I think if Marvel can just give us an interesting story, people will be happy. Miss Marvel was not bad. Adding what's her name, Photon, into the Marvels, I'm not mad at that. The problem is With Captain Marvel, again, she's so overpowered. I think where that movie failed was it was poor timing in the plot, in the scheme of all the movies. Like, to have that movie at the end, everybody's waiting for Avengers Endgame. We've been waiting 10 years for Avengers Endgame, and you're like, wait a second, hold on. Before Avengers Endgame, let's pander a little bit, and let's give you guys a female lead, which I'm not mad at, but don't just give it to us just to say you did it. And Captain Marvel was a just to say you did it movie. They made her cool. She was, girl power. It was fine. It was just at the wrong time, and I think it got received poorly because it was at the wrong time. I also don't know if Brie Larson's is playing that character right. Maybe it's just me. I think the way she depicts that character is too kind of blah, deadpan, if that's the right word. I'm not crazy about it. I think Brie Larson's is cool. I just think how she approached that, it's too cool. And I think that's what messed up. And again, Captain Marvel didn't have a real villain. Everyone's afraid of her. Rowan came in for a hot second, and he's scared to death. And yes, that's another thing. My best friend's a blurred. I really like you. Black Widow, I thought was a very good movie. Again, it was at the wrong time. We needed a Black Widow story in the beginning. Maybe you piggyback that off of the success of Iron Man. But I don't think it was a bad movie. I think that it was just poorly placed. And the end credit scenes didn't really pan out to anything. But I enjoyed it. I watched it 2-3 times. So I was happy with it. I just think poor timing, and Black Widow died, and then you're like, oh, by the way, here's her backstory. Come on, you got to do better. You got to do better. I'm glad they're kind of taking a break from the movies. Because the Marvels just came out. They need to kind of regroup and figure out a storyline. They don't know what they're doing with Kang now, because of Jonathan Majors stuff that's going on. And I think they have to figure that out. I thought Kang was a fantastic villain. Ant-Man was a little overly CGI'd, but I don't think it was a bad movie. I think Kang was a great villain, and I was not crazy about him being in Loki. I'm like, okay, I get it. They're time traveling. But when the He Who Remains character was amazing. The He Who Remains character was fantastic. I love the way he depicted that character. But who knows what's gonna happen next? We don't know what we're getting next from that. I've been hearing that they're gonna go ahead with Doctor Doom. I don't know if that's what Morpheus was talking about when he didn't kill the kid. Was he talking about Doctor Doom? Is Doctor Doom going to be a Kang variant? I don't know. But I would like to see Kang the Conqueror again. I thought the story of Ant-Man Quantumanium was pretty good. I think the application and the CGI was just, it was a lot. It was a lot to kind of do, and they're doing the Young Avengers thing. I get it. So they gotta line up the Young Avengers. I don't know if people are ready for that, because who would it be? All of the characters that are in series or movies that didn't do so well with critics. Cassie Lang, Miss Marvel. Uh, I don't know if Echo would be one. Um, Peter Parker, I guess, would he be leading the Young Avengers? I think that would be the thing that saves it. Um, Other movies, I hate Sony's, like, just give it up. Spider-Man 1 I enjoyed. Spider-Man 2 I thought was okay. Oh yeah, Kate Bishop, but again, people hated Back to the Young Avengers. People hated that show. It was terrible. It was a terrible show. Uh oh, what was I saying? What was I saying? Crap, I lost my train of thought. Um hmm. Oh, upcoming movies? No. Oh, Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Um and then Spider-Man 3 was terrible. Terrible casting, terrible plot. They sold us with Venom. Don't get me started on the new Venom movies. I I haven't even thought about turning on Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, and they're coming out with a Venom 3. They just do away with it. Stop it, Sony. You're killing us. Just you're killing us. And they're doing the Madam Web. I don't know what's going on. I watched that trailer. I have no idea what's going on in that trailer. Um I know Madam Web from the Spider-Man cartoon, and that old lady, from what I saw, is not in that movie. So I'm not crazy about it. Morpheus, did anybody? Mobius, Mobius. Did anybody watch that movie with Jared Leto? Didn't even cross my mind to go see that movie. It pops up all the time. No interest in seeing that movie. I think Sony is also doing Craven. So I don't know how I feel about that. If you're gonna bring it into the Tom Holland Spider-Man universe, do a Sinister Six. Sure. Because his character now is back to being poor Spider-Man, who can't keep a job. Sidebar and hot take: Spider-Man is the only true superhero. That's it. He's the only true superhero. He's got every reason to become a villain. He's got no money. He can't keep a job. He's got a terrible girlfriend who thinks more about herself than him. And gives him flack for, like, saving the world. He's down on his luck. He's getting evicted. You know, Jameson's jerking him around. He can't keep his job at the science lab. And still, he saves lives. You know what else? He has the power to probably kill every single one of those villains, and he doesn't. Give me any other superhero, and they're living it up. I'm sure Captain America gets paid by the government under the table, and he's living a nice cush life. He's probably got VA disability that's racked up from all his years in service. What's his name? The Falcon's on a government stipend. The X-Men are on forever scholarship. They got NIL deals, so they, are living it up. Who else? We can even travel in other, comic book universes. You want to go to DC? Superman's got a nice cush job with a 401k, and he just leaves the office whenever he wants to. Nobody cares. Batman's a billionaire, trillionaire, zillionaire who just, he's mad about his parents, so he's just beating up people, doing what he wants. Give him a little swift white justice. Who else? Anybody. Justice League, they do what they want. I don't know who's paying them, but they got a nice little. I think Batman's got them all on payroll. They just walk around until it's time to save lives. Spider-Man's the only hero that struggles. He's the only hero that, with everything he has, could be a perfect villain, and yet he still saves lives. There's no one else. Give me another superhero. He's the only true superhero. Back to what I'm saying. Back to what I was saying about movies. I'm not excited. I'm not excited about going to the movies anymore. I catch these movies like on my couch. I have a buddy that will get press screenings to all these movies. He asks all the time, do I want to go see them? I'm like, I'll go see it when it comes out on TV. Nothing is exciting me. I don't feel like I have to run to the movie theaters for any of these movies. I think they're just kind of pumping them out, and I think they've gotten stale. I did think Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3 was the best movie of that trilogy. That movie was amazing. That movie was so fantastic. It had so many different stories, so many different layers. That's probably my Marvel top 5 movie, definitely. And the Spider-Mans, of course, the Infinity Gauntlet, the Infinity War, and Endgame are up there, top 5. I need better story. I need better villains. I need better stories. I haven't mentioned a lot of DC because I'm not a DC guy. I'm a Marvel guy. But I do enjoy Batman. I wasn't mad at the last Batman movie. I thought it was a good detective movie. It wasn't just about Batman beating people up. He was trying to solve crimes and figure out what was going on. I thought it was fantastic. Is it better than the Chris Nolan Batmans, The Dark Knight? No, because nothing could ever do better than what's the Joker one? Dark Knight. I don't know. The second one. The second one was, no one can mess with that movie. Great villain. Great story. And then it happens to have Batman in it. I'm sold. But Batman is really my only character that I slip into DC for. Superman's trash. He's trash. He's terrible. He's too strong until you have a little glowing rock, and then he's like super weak. And as far as no, my best friend's a blurred. Daredevil is a lawyer. So he's getting money. He's getting real money. He takes those like pro bono cases, but he's getting money. Like he defended She-Hulk, and She-Hulk was in that big company. She-Hulk. Oh, I forgot about that. I enjoyed She-Hulk. I thought She-Hulk was a very good series. I thought She-Hulk was very good until the finale. Till the second half of the finale. Once they did the stop action thing, and she starts talking, and it's like, oh, I don't want to do the same cliche thing, blah blah blah. I'm like, this is great. This is good stuff. And then the episode just ended. They didn't really follow up. It kind of just, they wrapped everything up and it was done. So that was another one that was a great series. That's probably right there under Loki for the series. Or maybe I probably have WandaVision ahead of She-Hulk. In that Meg Thee Stallion segment, I was like, get me out of here. But I thought She-Hulk was... I never watched The Punisher on Netflix. I never watched The Punisher. I never watched The Daredevil from Netflix. I watched Luke Cage. I watched the first 2 episodes of the second season of Luke Cage and decided I was done with Luke Cage. Luke Cage is another guy. I think they need a bigger. I think they need a bigger actor to play Luke Cage. And restart that also. Restart Luke Cage. I kind of like what they did with it. I like the story. But the second season, I was like, I don't know if I'm here for this. And I never watched it after the second episode. I never watched it again. I watched 1 or 2 episodes of The Punisher, but it was out of order. And The Defenders, I wasn't into it. Iron Fist, no. You know what I watched a few episodes of? Inhumans. It was terrible. It was really bad. I was waiting for it to get good. It was really bad. And that was really bad. That should have been a movie or something. We needed more backstory on them, and I think they were just trying to make it like a drama, and that wasn't it. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but Cloak and Dagger, you remember that? Cloak and Dagger, I thought, was a fantastic show. I thought Cloak and Dagger had a good story. I really enjoyed the second. I enjoyed watching every episode. I think it was well written. They didn't seem so overpowered that they needed a big villain. Their powers are good for a small area. So I can see them staying in Louisiana and doing that. But then when they went to New York, I was like, oh man, it's about to be up. And then it was over. It was just over after that. I have never seen Jessica Jones. Is it something I should look back on? I never watched Jessica Jones. Those Netflix, for me, those Netflix Marvel shows were kind of hit or miss. I missed a lot of them. I missed a good chunk of them. I missed all of them. I watched the first season of Luke Cage. I watched maybe 2 episodes of The Punisher. With The Punisher, I couldn't do the Batman voice. I couldn't do his Batman voice. I loved him in Walking Dead. I thought his Walking Dead character was phenomenal. But that I'm gonna kill you. I couldn't do it. So I did about 2 episodes, and it bothered me that it was out of order. So I never went back to it. Is there anything else? I feel like I don't know how long I've been talking. I lost track. But this is typically what I want to do. I want to get my thoughts out. Eventually, I hope to have sorry about that. Eventually I hope to have a guest on here or 2. But this is what I'm doing. So I'm glad I have a new subscriber. I'm hoping to get more subscribers. I'm hoping to interact with people more. I think this is all I wanted to discuss for the moment. What really prompted me to do this live was to talk about my figures. But I kind of got through that quick, or I think it was quick. We're at 8:30 right now, so I don't know what actual time. I should keep a timer because I can't see on my screen. So I hope you enjoyed. For all my nerds, my blurs, my geeks, everyone in between. Even if you're just looking to figure out what your boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or husband who's a nerd has been talking about, and you want to jump in here, I would love the company. Subscribe on Twitch. Subscribe. I'm also on YouTube. That is more of my figure stuff. TikTok as well is more of my figure stuff. I will post clips of this on there. and I hope to see you soon. From my collection, from my thoughts to you and yours and all that's in between, respect. I'm out. I thank you.
Respect the collector.